Let's talk about one of the most interesting puzzles in the global gaming world, Hong Kong. We're going to get into its really unique gambling paradox and figure out why this huge money-making market is basically a locked fortress. So, first thing you need to get is this. Hong Kong has a massive betting culture. And I mean massive. This isn't some new trend. We're talking it goes back for ages. People here are passionate about it, and they're willing to spend big, pouring billions into the very few legal options they actually have. But, and here's the paradox, even with all that crazy demand, Hong Kong has one of the most locked down, tightly controlled gambling markets you'll find anywhere. It's a total monopoly, a fortress with the gates sealed shut to pretty much everyone else. So that leads us to the big question for this explainer. Why? Why on earth is this incredibly valuable market, jam-packed with eager bettors, kept under such a tight lock and key? Well, to figure that out, we've got to look at how those walls were built in the first place. You know, a system like this doesn't just happen by accident. It was built, piece by piece, law by law, for more than 100 years. So, to really understand the fortress, we need to look at the legal bricks and mortar that went into building it. As you can see here, the walls went up methodically, over a long, long time. It all kicked off way back in 1847, but the real foundation for the modern system was laid in 1977, with a law designed to completely crush illegal bookies. And then, notice how things just get tighter. In '93, they slammed the door shut on offshore betting. Even when they modernized in 2002 for online and phone betting, it was only for the monopoly. Every single step, right up to today, has just made those walls higher and thicker. So if there's one law you need to know, it's this one, the Gambling Ordinance, Cap 148. This is the master lock on the whole fortress. It basically makes every kind of gambling illegal unless the government gives its explicit official thumbs up. And let me tell you, that permission is incredibly hard to get. All right, so if the market's a locked fortress, who has the key? Well, it's not a who, it's a what. One single, unbelievably powerful organization, the Hong Kong Jockey Club. Now, this is where things get really interesting. The HKJC is not your typical betting company. Not even close. It's a not-for-profit. So instead of profits going into the pockets of shareholders, its huge surplus gets funneled directly into charity and public projects. This gives it a kind of social permission to operate that a private company could only dream of, making it a very powerful and very unique gatekeeper. And this number, I mean, just look at it. This shows you exactly why the government protects this system so fiercely. Just last year, the HKJC kicked in over 40 billion Hong Kong dollars through taxes and donations. When one single group is that vital for public funding, you can see why there's almost zero incentive to shake things up. And the Jockey Club isn't going it alone. There's a whole ecosystem in place to protect this monopoly. You've got the Betting and Lotteries Commission watching over the HKJC itself, while the police force is out there actively cracking down on any illegal syndicates trying to get a piece of the action. Okay, so the front door is locked, barred, and guarded, but you gotta wonder, are there any secret passages? Any cracks in these walls? Are there any ways for outside companies to get a foothold, even a small one, without getting into trouble? Well, there are a few clever and totally legal workarounds. Companies can sponsor sports teams or big cultural events to just get their name seen. They can publish research and expert analysis to show they know their stuff. And they can team up with international media to build their brand from a safe distance. It's all about getting your name out there without actually, promoting gambling. But, and this is a huge but, you have to understand that there is a very, very bright red line. The second you try to directly promote or run affiliate marketing for an unauthorized site, you've crossed over into criminal territory. The authorities are watching and they do not mess around. So, with Hong Kong sealed up so tight, let's pull the camera back a bit. Let's look at the neighborhood. Because what's happening in the rest of Asia is a whole different story, and it really highlights just how isolated Hong Kong is. I mean, just a quick ferry ride away, you've got Macau. It's the only place in the whole of Greater China where casinos are legal. It's a total magnet for high rollers from Hong Kong and the mainland. It is a completely different universe of open, high-stakes gaming. Then you've got the Philippines, which for years has been the go-to spot for offshore gaming licenses that target other countries. Though, to be fair, the government there is kind of rethinking that whole model right now, so its future is a little up in the air. And the one to watch? The one everyone's talking about? Thailand. A draft bill to legalize casinos just got a big approval. If that actually goes through, Thailand could become the next major legal gambling hub in Asia, which means even more competition right on Hong Kong's doorstep. So, all of this brings us right back to our locked fortress. With so much change and so much action happening all around it, you have to ask, will the door to Hong Kong's market ever creak open, even just a little bit? The pressure is definitely building. There's no doubt about it. You've got the economic pressure from all these offshore sites. You have these regional trends like what's happening in Thailand. For the government, it's this constant, tricky balancing act between keeping control and finding new ways to make money. So, what's a possible path forward? Well, a lot of analysts are pointing to something like this. The idea isn't to just throw the gates wide open. It's more about maybe allowing some limited, very highly controlled online betting under the government's watchful eye. That way, you could bring in more money without giving up that all-important control. And that leaves us with the big final question. Is Hong Kong's system a brilliant model for social control, making sure gambling revenue actually helps the community? Or is it just an outdated barrier to progress, holding back economic growth while the rest of the region races ahead? The answer, whatever it is going to define the future of this locked fortress of fortune.